Welcome back here as we're set for game number 2 between the same very two squads of the Wampus Cats and your Disco Turkeys. Game number 1 resulted in a massive victory for the Disco Turkeys, that being an 8-2 final score. Looks to do a push bunt here. Over on the mound, he'll flip it over to the man at first. As Dahl changes from the catcher to the first baseman tonight in game number 2, man on the mound, that's Chambers. He'll retire of Blake McKinney after leading off with trying to do a push bunt down the first base side. Apologies here for a slight delay in the start of game number 2. Once again, Chambers is the man on the mound. He'll be hitting as well today, turning into the DH once he comes out of the game. He'll be batting in 5th. Batting second, here's Carter DeVore. Misses the inside corner, ball 1. What? Oh. That pitch gets away here to the 2-hole, that being of Carter DeVore. Three balls, no strikes here to him to start things off. Inside ball 4. After a ground out to the man on the mound, Carter DeVore draws a walk. That'll bring up Sam Schwamp. Give me a second. Pickoff move called safe. As Chambers just about got DeVore over on first, the left-hander on the mound. Upstairs, ball 1 to the 3-hole of Schwamp. Nearly gets away from the man behind the plate tonight. That is going to be Parker. That catches the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike here to Schwamp. Once again, apologies here, trying to get my my stat sheets caught up. That goes down on the feet of Parker as we're set to redo things here. 3 balls and a strike. They're going to be batting 10 once again here in game number 2 between these two squads. Once again, Turkeys took home game number 1, final score being 8-2. Upstairs just misses the top half part of the plate as we have a full count here to Schwamp. Schwamp played back in game number 1. He was batting a little bit further down in the lineup, singling in the second and not reaching base safely since. Fouling that one off 3-2. Grounded out and struck out in the 5th and 6th innings back in game 1. As Ramey's trying to improve his night from 1 for 3 and get something started going here in game number 2. Whitehead on deck, followed by Anderson Monero. Lined into shallow center field, just barely picked up as Horn was able to keep it in front of him. That did drop down in front as Graham, the second baseman, dives to tag out DeVore in between first and second base. As DeVore went back to first base, instead had to go to second as that was dropped. Instead of taking the force out at second, got the tag play. Yes. As here comes Whitehead to the box. Downstairs, blocked up by Parker. Trying to take off for second, but Parker couldn't keep it in front of him. As Schwann's able to steal second. 1-0. Upstairs 2-0. The 2-0 fastball right down the heart of the plate. Able to work it back here 2-1. As we're under the lights here at the couch, majority of game number 1 was all under complete sunlight, although the lights were on here at the couch. Game number 2 is quite a bit darker. Once again, sun setting from the stands and left. Checking on the runner at second. Schwam going to stay put as a 3-1's fouled straight back. As we have a full count here, 2 outs. Whitehead, the batter at the box. 4th batter of the inning. Fires it home. Downstairs, blocked up by Parker. He'll keep it in front of him. A full count payoff pitch results in a walk. 2nd walk of the inning. We'll bring up Anderson Monero. Down to the 5th batter of the inning. First pitch downstairs, ball 1. Trent Wells started things off in game number 1, going 5 innings. That game was very quick. Since he's came out and it's been relief, it's been quite a bit slower. As we're still here top of the first. 2 outs. We are 1 batter away, and it could take all but 1 pitch. That did catch the inside corner. Neely was able to draw a swing from Monero, making his first at bat here in game number 2 tonight. Jake Smith waits on deck, followed by Nathan Harpworth. That's downstairs, going to test the arm of Parker. Throws into third instead of lead it. Good read there by Schwam as he'll take third. Schwam will walk back into third as he thought about trying to take home as Parker had to come back from behind home plate and pick up his helmet. Count evens here, 2-2. Fires it in, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 1 of the night from Chambers. Leaves the top half stranded. To the home half we go. It's going to be Vespi, Graham, and Dahl.
I want to stop being sidelined by pain. I want to tell him I'm in. I want a surgeon who speaks more knees than he can count. I want the best care in the game. I want a team that's with me every step of the way. I want to bounce back fast. I want to show them my best is yet to come.
For the best orthopedic care, you want Novant. Novant Health. Best surgeons, amazing nurses, remarkable care.
Coming back here, home half of the first. Here in game number 2, Turkeys took home game number 1. Final score of that being 8-2. With the Turkeys taking home game number 1, that puts them to 4-2-1 against the Cats on the season and 12-10 on the regular season, making sure that they're going to stay above 500 both against the Cats and the regular season, regardless of how game number 2 comes to a close. Starting things off, that's going to be Ty Vespi. And on the mound, that's Burton. Chopped down to third base side. Shrewsbury able to make the sliding grab, but can't end up making the throw to the first. That's going to go down as a leadoff error, unfortunately, as that had a chance to be a great play there as Ty Vespi hurried down the line. Indeed so. That goes down as a error to third to lead off the game. Yeah. Down and in, ball 1 to the 2-hole of Graham. The right-hander of the mound, that is Burton. That being of Drew Burton. Run on first is Vespi. He stole second in the first game, trying to do it here in game number 2, as that went foul. 1-1 the count here. Glad to see that we have brought back just about everyone that was watching game number 1 here in game number 2. As we're here in the first inning. For those joining late, you haven't missed much of anything, as we're still waiting here for run number 1 to come across from either side. Top half of the first resulted in 2 walks, a fielder's choice strikeout, and a ground out. Here on the home half, reaching on an error's Vespi. Pickoff move nearly got him. What's the infield umpire say? Safe. We'll take a replay here on YouTube. As you can see, just barely got back in underneath the tag. The 2-1 here catches the inside corner. Now two balls, 2 strikes here to the 2-hole of Graham. And Vespi with a walking lead over at first. Pickoff move once again, trying to find a way to get out number 1 of the inning as we're here to the 2-hole. Another pickoff move there. Again, just a tad late to the leadoff man of Vespi. Still a decent sized lead for Vespi. Stays put as that's up and in. Full count here to the 2-hole of Graham. Vespi reached on a leadoff error to the third baseman of Shrewsbury, as we're trying to find a way to continue the inning and find a way to push home the first run of the night. Runner takes off. Vespi. That's going to be pop fouled out of play. Foul ball here into the crowd. Little kids able to get it. As we'll redo it here, 3-2 the count. Vespi tried to steal second for the first time tonight. For the second time tonight. First time in game number 2, that is. 81 degrees here at the couch. Cicadas all around the outfield as that's popped up. Shallow center field, giving a chase to McKinney, as that's going to be left for the shortstop of Smith. Makes the grab. Out number 1 of the inning. And here comes Dakota Dahl up after the flyout to shortstop. First pitch here, line center field. This one is to McKinney. Medium deep center field. No tag at first. That comes out to being the second out of the inning. After the leadoff man reached on an error, it's been 2 up, 2 down, and that's going to bring up Uwharrie to third baseman tonight for the Turks. Trying to avoid a quick inning here. As we have a runner on first. So far, we haven't been able to push him since Vespi trying to steal second throw nearly into center field. Stopped by the second baseman of Devore. Tried to apply the tag, not in time. As Vespi able to steal second. Third stolen base of the night. Runner on second here, 2 outs. Line shot, center field, backing up. Straight behind him is McKinney. Takes 2 steps, ranging to his right. 2 straight flyouts into center will take us to the top half of the second. Scoreless, going into 2.
Your story. It lives in Winston-Salem. Home to fast cars, slow-cooked barbecue, and old-fashioned charm. Where the past is ever present and the future's as bright as a blue Carolina sky. Your story is the story of Winston-Salem, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's breaking news in places no one else sees or capturing the natural beauty of our state. And here in the Winston-Salem Journal is where it comes to life.
I guess so. Shoot. Hold up. Let's get the little note card. All right. Are we back on?
Yep. Here's your lineup. Jake Smith leading off. Right. And that is your defense.
Defensive lineup. Jake Smith fouls off the starting offering from Chambers. Still in the game or no?
I'm not too sure. I'd assume so.
Coming in. How do you do in the last game? Let's see.
Who is it?
Looks like a decent day at the plate. You're going 6-4. 0-2 on the count now. Chambers setting his delivery. Crack, right field. Settling under his cush. Makes the play. Really didn't have to move for that one. Kind of just straight bullet at him. I feel like I'd fare better as a color guy, though. I don't know. Because, like, will that mic pick up from over there? If you want to.
It might.
It's very much your equipment, and I don't want to take over if at all possible.
Okay.
We'll put you back on the mic, I guess. And I'll just watch and see how it's done.
You're with 1 out here in the top of the second. Chambers on the mound. Can you? Okay.
Awesome.
The left-hander on the mound against the right-hander at the plate. That's of Nathan Hayworth, making his first at bat here in game number 2. As for Hayworth, he batted in the 2-hole back in game number 1. Reached on a walk in the 6th.
Oh, we got fireworks going off.
1-2. 1-2 here against Harpworth. Fouled off down the first base side. That's going to get out of play.
You know, those always scared me as a fan. Back when you'd sit over there, you just get one, you watching, and it just comes straight at you. It freaks you out a little bit.
Especially when you're not expecting it.
Oh God, no! Like, and you hear it on your head. It's just one of the worst feelings ever.
Here with the 1-2 delivery from Chambers. Just missing the inside corner. Back from game number 1, the home plate umpire had a delayed strike 3 call. Nearly thought that had a chance to be another one. With the 2-2 from Chambers up and out.
You know, as an umpire, or at least as a player, you kind of feel like you get away or get lucky with one there, and it really can flip an at bat or change the way you approach something when it comes to it.
Especially here being, not even a pro, here college players. Your home plate umpires will have makeup calls, and that could have been one there as that hit the outside corner. As for Hayworth, he thought that was outside. Got lucky there. Strikeout for Chambers, his second one of the night.
Oh, absolutely. And then you're still fighting for that position, getting scouting attention, getting people to notice you.
Coming to the plate, it's Baruch. Here, 2 outs, top of the second. For the home half of the second, the man on the mound set to start things off at the plate. Hardy cut there, 0-1 for Baruch, playing in right field here in game number 2. Back in game 1, Baruch as well in right field. Ended up having an RBI double in the 7th, accounting for one of the 2 runs.
And just waving through too there. 2 very hard fastballs, but if you can turn on something like that, you're gonna rock one at the very least.
Swing and a miss there. Back-to-back strikeouts will do it here in the top half of the second. Third strikeout of the night from Chambers will take us to the home half, where Chambers will start things at the plate. Coming back here, home half of the second. Set to leading things off is Chambers, who had back-to-back strikeouts to close the top half of the second. And it's like I could only believe he's going to come back out for the third inning of work as well.
It could be a real do-it-all guy here. Getting the base hit or starting a strong inning off. The best run support that you can have as a pitcher can primarily come from yourself.
We've seen it a handful of times, although there hasn't been many chances for a long ball here tonight. Not saying Chambers can't.
It's just one of the more lucky things for a PO to do.
Exactly. Downstairs, 2-1. And a hitter's count here. It would be nice to see Chambers at least help himself out offensively. Finding a way to get on base would be huge.
I think he's looking for a center cut fastball or something out over the plate, because he's working with that slider and trying to put it on his back foot.
Here in a huge hitter's count. Fastball down the middle. Let's see what could possibly happen. Fastball right there where he wanted. Instead, a ground out from the backhand. DeVore over the first. Collision at first base. Luckily, nobody was hurt. An infield single. Just about started to head into fair play. Schwam tried to tag him out.
That first baseman did an excellent job there, getting off the bag, still trying to maintain his control, prevent it from going in the dugout, because that just adds another base.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that you got to limit in this game is giving away extra bases and those free outs.
And Chambers has so far been able to help himself offensively here. First base knock of the night.
That was a clip on the upper outside.
Indeed so, just barely able to hit the top half of the zone.
Those are the hitter always have to frustrate you. You think, oh, it's just going to be right there. And another one. Oh, wow. Low outside, more middle, but...
Kush not lifting his bat off his shoulder, already down the count 0-2. To the second batter of the inning, leadoff man reaching on an infield single, that being Chambers. Watching that one upstairs, trying to work it back here 1-2.
Sometimes, though, when you get those outside pitches called, it just feels like it takes the bat out of your hands almost. You're fighting from behind. Not only you're fighting the pitcher and yourself, you're fighting from the umpire as well. It can be a really difficult game.
And that clips something. I end up completely fooling Whitehead behind the plate. And that leaves the count 2-2.
Is it?
Yeah, 2-2. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get that lone bug.
Okay.
Oh, 1-2.
Big jumping lead over at first, stepping off the back of the mound's Burton. Chambers trying to time up Burton and find a way to get an easy stolen base, as a lot of the time pitchers will get into a rhythm.
That does have that double-edged sword aspect of it. Not only does it distract the pitcher from what's going on at the plate, it can also lead to the pitcher making a mistake out over the plate, enhancing the batter. But you can end up getting picked off and ruin your own rally at the same time, which is a very deeply calculated choice in a way.
Alongside Chambers being on first. Pickoff move the first. Chambers was bouncing towards second, just able to get back in the first.
That's a nice move. One of the better moves I've seen from a righty. Just a quick pivot.
As you were just mentioning, trying to bounce on first could give an advantage to the batter, but also nearly a chance to get picked off himself. The 2-2 here, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 1 of the inning. Leads to the first out of the inning, and first one for Burton on the night.
Well, with longer games like these, especially getting multiple at-bats, you got to remember to yourself, it's a long game, and it's the hardest game on the planet. You got to keep your head level. You got to make sure that even when you're swinging and missing, you're hacking, you're doing so with the thought of there's always that next plate appearance.
Being successful 1 out of 3 times is considered great. And a handful of these guys are batting above that mark coming into tonight. Welch coming into the plate. First pitch catches the heart of the plate, 0-1. Fouled off down the first base side. A long foul ball, but a strike nonetheless. Down the count 0-2.
Long strikes. That can be the name of the game. It can be helpful or hurtful. As a batter, though, you feel like you just miss one there, and it'll come each at a point.
Just a tad bit late on the fastball. Gonna come back with another one. Swing and a miss.
Beautifully executed off speed. Really been working with that. Used it with Chambers, trying to keep him off his balance, and it's a real go-to pitch.
Back-to-back strikeouts from Burton will bring up Parker.
So you said you played at Davie with all that. Any translation over to helping with college ball and playing at Rockingham?
Some of the biggest things that I've learned going from high school to college is there's not many clicks. you can't rely on your coach to put you in just because you're one of the top guys. Trying to steal second as Chambers goes off the back of the bag, just able to get in, avoiding the tag from DeVore.
We've seen these turkeys run at will, having given their own green light in ways. Stealing at will is not out of the playbook of many of these runners with elite sprint speed. Excuse me. Stutter. Golly.
So far, 2 stolen bases on the night, 1 from the leadoff man of Vespi, and 1 on the leadoff inning of inning number 2 of Chambers. 1-2 the count here to Parker. Possibly down to the last strike of the inning. Able to foul that one off into the netting. We'll redo it here as the count remains 1-2.
You're just staying alive and seeing that fight through. You always gotta keep the pressure on as a batter and a pitcher. The longer you can keep that at bat going, the more wears that pitcher down, and the more likely you're going to get that mistake that you're so looking for.
As you're getting back to it earlier, one of the biggest things that I was able to pick up on from the difference between high school and college, although I did change positions through college, and that's sort of getting to the point. The one spot that you're good at in high school may not be the spot you stick at in college. One of the kids that played at Davie this past year, Coy James, which was named the Gatorade Player of the Year in North Carolina, was a true shortstop at Davie, although playing second base for the Team USA 18U.
That's just ridiculous, the amount of talent that players can have in just not real rural counties, but Davie isn't exactly a hustle bustle like it is in Winston.
It definitely is not one of the major baseball schools that you think of from around the area, especially here as of late compared to Reagan, East West Forsyth, and a few of the others. Grounded left field side, Smith. Cheater throw over the first, not able to apply the tag with Schwab. That'll put runners first and third here with 2 outs.
You see Chandler over there was chomping at the bit, trying to each his way down the line. And, you know, as a coach, that's one of the things you got to pride your players on, is trying to take that extra base. While limiting giving them up, you got to realize when those errant throws come around, you got to be on your horse. You've got to be on the move.
Yeah. Especially here with 2 outs, more than likely, you're going to be running on contact. As for Chambers, one thing I had to make sure of was that the throw is not going to be going into third. Fouled straight back, 0-1. Already down to the 9 hole here in inning number 2. And the Turkeys batting 10, the extra hitter being Welch, who was the second strikeout victim of the inning. As we're down to the left fielder, Manisi. Outer half of the plate called a strike. Down to the last strike here, 0-2. Jumping lead over at first, ends up being stranded there as a 3-pitch strikeout will end the second. A 3-strikeout inning will take us to the top half of the third.
I want to stop being sidelined by pain. I want to tell him I'm in. I want a surgeon who speaks more knees than he can count. I want the best care in the game. I want a team that's with me every step of the way. I want to bounce back fast. I want to show them my best is yet to come.
For the best orthopedic care, you want Novant. Novant Health. Best surgeons, amazing nurses, remarkable care.
third baseman, number 5, Christian Shrewsbury.
Coming here top of the third inning. Nearly coming halfway through game number 2. Once again, this being part of a doubleheader. We're only playing 7. Turkeys took home game number 1, 8-2 final. Christian Shrewsbury set to start things off for the Wampus Cats against Chambers. Chambers had a chance to come in and score himself. Ended up being stranded on third back in the last half. Swing and a miss there, evens the count 1-1 against Shrewsbury. Another swing and a miss there. Ends up swinging and hitting air, falling down to his last strike, 1-2. As for Chambers, he's nearing 40 pitches thrown so far tonight. Another swing and a miss there. Picks up strikeout number 4 of the night for Chambers.
Yeah, the pace might be a concern for him. Burning through 40 pitches in a matter of 7 outs can really be detrimental to a game and make you feel as if you're kind of fighting each at-bat to end it really quickly to keep yourself in there as long as possible.
The second inning for Chambers went 3 up, 3 down, which definitely helps out with the pitch count. The first inning went a tad bit slower than what we were wanting, especially in comparison to game number 1.
Little 5th of July fireworks going off here in Winston-Salem. That always surprised me. You'll hear them from about late June to about mid-July.
All depends on where you're at. If you find yourself down closer to the beach, it's just about year-round.
Well, if you find yourself at a baseball field, you see that every time there's a walk-off home run.
That pitch misses downstairs on the turf. 3-0 here from Chambers against the Tin Holes Lermore. Lermore, the extra hitter tonight in game number 2. He is one of the relief pitchers in game number 1. He ended up throwing 2 innings of work. Takes a 4-pitch walk. To the top of the lineup we go. It's Blake McKinney. He grounded out back in the first inning. He tried to do a little push bunt down the first base line. That was picked up by Chambers. He played back in game number 1 as well. As for McKinney, he batted in the 3 spot, grounded out twice with a RBI fielder's choice in the 6. First pitch here, swing and a miss, 0-1. Able to get back in a strike column after a 4-pitch walk to Lermore.
That's one thing as a pitcher that you have to keep in mind. You got to reset every single batter. It's a new count, it's a new appearance, it's a new pitch. You always have to keep that in mind, and it helps moving along, make it so much easier.
Whether you're in a rhythm or not, it only takes 1 pitch to get an out, which could make or break a night. And in this situation here, in this pitcher's duel, any way to get to the home half is great, would be great for the Turkeys, especially a 1 pitch or any way to get a quick inning should give momentum for the Turkeys lineup.
Away. And with 1 out, that reset, going to first base, clears your mind. You're always 1 pitch, hard ground ball to third, second, short, first, wherever, can always end up turning into a double play. It can always get you out, and you've always got to remember that there's workarounds and everything. You're not waning out there.
Lined into right field over the head of Cush. That's going to be played off the wall. Lermore around second. Going to be a play at the third. Play at third. Tag is in time. Able to hold on to it was Uwharrie. Huge play there as Graham was able to fire a bullet in Uwharrie for out number 2 of the inning.
Just perfectly executed the play off the wall. Hit just below the yellow. Looked like it was going to get out for a second. An excellent relay as the shortstop comes in, cuts it off. And a beautiful tag at third, almost picking the runner off from behind, trying to advance to second. And that's what I was talking about, where it's that 1 pitch. It can put you in a better scenario. and clearly rolling with momentum heading into this batter, and probably for the rest of the game.
As long as we get some run support here in the home half of the third, I would not doubt that Chambers could go 2, 3, 4 more innings. Taking off for thirds, McKinney pitches downstairs in the dirt. Parker not able to keep it in front of him, but that will leave McKinney over at third.
Well, you're just lucky that that runner didn't turn the corner there. Sometimes on bigger fields and on bigger backstops, especially, a runner can get 2, 3 extra bases there, and it can really put pressure on the catcher to make those blocks and make those plays.
The one good thing here for the home squad, they are used to playing here at the Couch, this being their home field for this 2025 season, minus the 2 games being played in Rich Park. They're at Mando Field in Moxville. So both Parker and Dahl, the 2 catchers here tonight, have had a large amount of home games learning how this backstop's played, especially with the brick wall back behind a home just underneath the netting.
That's another thing that you got to get used to, and especially with high school baseball, traveling a lot and playing at various fields and conditions, those are things that you have to take into consideration. I assure you that was the same in college, right?
Yeah.
With Rockingham Community College. As a pitcher, you understand, like, hey, if I bounce one here, they're definitely getting that extra base, if not 2.
You really got to rely on your catcher, and some pitchers definitely have favorites over others. I know I did. You know, a lot of people say it shouldn't matter who's behind the plate, but some people definitely prefer others, and one of those that are relied on heavily this year, especially for the Turkeys, is between Dakota Dahl and Parker here tonight. And there hasn't been many pass balls. There's been a handful of wild pitches.
But being able to corral and control them is what you really think a backstop for, especially as a pitcher. And that's what ups that connection and that relationship between them. Having that trust to know that if I make a mistake, he's got my back, and vice versa.
Exactly. A lot of these players being housed in college at other major D1 fields, including some at High Point, alongside others which are part of some D2, some JUCO schools. Some other fields have big backstops, alongside here at Wake Forest.
You know, Davey always had a big backstop. That always scared me every time I went to go play there, seeing that 30, 40-foot monstrosity back there.
It was definitely terrible. And while I was in high school, I was primarily a catcher, and I hated playing there, even as my home field. Swing and a miss there. 0-2 here to Schwamp. The runner on first, DeVore reaching on a walk.
I think my favorite field that I played at was Surrey Central High School. Surrey Central High School had a short backstop. It was brick, so you got a good bounce. But it was one of the prettier and nicer fields that you got to play on, which is a luxury, especially in high school baseball.
Pitch miss upstairs. 1-2 the count here to Schwamp. Chambers still on the mound. Downstairs evens at 2 apiece.
Just an amazing ability to check the bat and hold off on that swing there. Most of the time, you break that wrist, and it can almost feel as if you lost yourself there.
The 2-2 here, downstairs and in. Full count here against Schwamp. As for me, I have a mix between 3 favorite fields. I played at the High Point Rockers Stadium, where the game didn't start until after midnight.
Oh, gosh.
That was a extremely fun game to be playing in, chirping on both sides.
That's what makes high school baseball.
Runner takes off for second. DeVore, swing and a miss, won't matter. He'll go down on a strikeout. And that's how the top half of the third will come to a close. For the home half, it'll be Horn and the top. Still scoreless going to the home half of the third. coming back here, home half of the third, still in a scoreless pitcher's duel here. First pitch line down the first base line, down into the bullpen.
When a pitcher's duel, it only really takes that one at bat and that one pitch, like you said earlier, to either get out of a rhythm or to get into it. And if you leave one, it's going to be a magnified mistake here. In tighter games, you have to be on top of your game and you have to be as sharp as you physically can be.
As for Burton on the mound, he's given up no free bases, that being walks or hit by pitches, while giving up only 2 hits and getting 3 strikeouts to boot through his 2 innings of work.
That's something that you can appreciate from a fielder's perspective and from a coaching perspective.
Popped up back behind the plate, giving it a chase as Whitehead able to make the grab, nearly overran it, and that will sit down Horn, the leadoff man of the inning.
Winner, number 1, Vespi.
Up to the top of the lineup we go for Vespi. Second at bat here in game number 2. He reached on an error to start the game, ended up stealing second as well.
Ty Vespi is the type of guy that's just an all-around player. You know, is always a threat on the bases, has sneaky pop, good gap-to-gap hitter, just the type of guy that you want at the top of your order.
As you were saying, a couple games ago, he had 2 home runs in the same game and back-to-back at-bats. Had 5 RBIs in 2 innings.
One of the more impressive performances that you see out of players, especially in summer ball, where it feels like they're in that monotonous grind of coming just off the season and gearing up for those fall workouts.
If I'm not mistaken, there's one disco turkey that's in the transfer portal looking to get a new home for next season.
Well, good luck to that gentleman. I really hope he does find a home.
If I'm not mistaken, one of the previous players that played last year transferred into UNC Charlotte this year. That's lined right at the third baseman, and Shrewsbury is able to make the grab, out number 2.
And then shaking his head there, just unlucky. One of those things that you really have to not let get under your skin as a player. You hit the ball well, and that's what you have to take away from it. If you hit it on the screws every time, you're more than likely going to get a hit. You can't stay unlucky forever.
As we were saying earlier, going 1 for 3 is impressive, and keeping that going on for a whole season puts you in the top half, more than likely than not, of the batting average leaders over the course of the season. Unfortunately for the Turkeys, they're independent this season, unlike last year where they were in the SCBL. Popped up third base side, that's going to drop in foul ground.
Almost got lucky with the little dunk there. As a pitcher, if you see it going that way, you start to feel your heart race just a little bit. I can't imagine you had any moments like that with Rockingham where you feel that dunk.
I definitely had a handful of experiences where I was pitching my tail off just to give up a little bloop single over either the first or third baseman, which ended up lighting a rally for the other squad.
It's just that one mistake and staying sharp.
Lined right field, right toward the head of Kush. Apologies, that being Baruch. That's going to end the home half of the third. Top 4 coming up, still inside of a pitcher's duel, as Chambers will come back out onto the mound. I'll tell you next half. Just don't let me forget. Coming back here, top of the 4th inning. Set to lead things off. That is going to be of Carson Whitehead. As the first pitch misses outside, ball 1 from Chambers.
That's a new Chambers
Oh,
left the
whoops,
game.
apologies. I could only expect that Chambers would have went back in.
25.
25.
Yes, sir.
Areola now on the mound. The 1-0 popped up inside the infield. Second baseman Graham able to come in on it, makes the grab, out number 1.
A true home run in an elevator shaft moment. If you stay on top of that one, you drive it. It's going to be going a long ways. That's probably going over Novant, out all the way out there in right center field. If he drives,
It definitely had the height to it. Sent it a mile high into the infield. Luckily here for Areola, it went no further.
no, over there at Ridge Park, that puppy would have.
That would have been a home run at Ridge Park for sure. And that was what Whitehead was trying to do, all except that was right toward the right fielder. As Monero flew out to Cush.
Now batting the shortstop, number 12, Dave Smith.
Oh, since for the postseason, that's not going to be here at the couch. It's going to be back at Mando.
Well, that'll make for some interesting dimensions. With Couch, you got that 400 at deep center, but you have a shallow line, and at Rich, you have that left field monster at 300, and you got a 335 backside, home of Carolina University.
Alongside used to be home of Davie County High School.
Was it really?
It used to be the home field of Davie.
I knew they had the old high school back off.
The new
the
high
other side.
school that was built in 2017 brought in a new field to New Davie.
Oh, wow.
So the old Mando field used to be the home for Davie. Alongside there being an American Legion team that plays out of Rich Park as well.
Proud alumni.
I play there as well.
Oh, no, it's some of the best fun that you can have in your life.
Talking about that, they're in playoffs right now. They're currently losing 6-1 to the Senior Hogs, that being Davidson County.
I'm shocked they had that turnaround.
We'll be playing game number 2, best 2 out of 3 tomorrow at Rich Park.
That'd be a joy to watch. I might have to go stop by. See old Donnie out there.
3 balls and a strike here to Jake Smith. I broadcast those games as well.
Oh, so you're a cover it all.
I
type
do
of guy.
both, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're never short of getting.
Never. Fouled straight back. This is going to put the count as full. Here, 2 outs. So Jake Smith has a chance for a 1-2-3 inning.
I just saw a fan try and jump up and catch that with their bare hands, seen in the reflection of a mirror. Wonder if he ever got that.
Back last night on the 4th, there was a fan here behind home plate that did.
Oh gosh. No, he did get it.
Yeah, he got it.
Oh wow.
The man in the orange cap.
Go buy a lottery ticket at that point if you go and catch a foul ball.
The payoff pitch fouled straight back. Another
He's gonna
chance
get
here.
another
Going
one.
for another one.
I think he got another one. He done got another.
Back-to-back pitches. Able to get 2 foul balls.
That's 2 lottery tickets then, I guess. Sponsored by, not sponsored by Education Lottery, but Wake Forest is. Maybe you should play. Only if you're over 18, though.
If you need help gambling, I don't know the number. The payoff pitch misses outside ball
It's
4.
on Google, though.
Indeed it is.
Google's my go-to guy. Whenever I host, I always do the little trivia. Google's it wrong 20% of the time. So, I don't know for trivia purposes. I always get corrected then, but they never catch it anyways.
Runner on first after a 2-out walk. That's Jake Smith will bring up Nathan Harpworth. First pitch called a strike here from Areola. 0-1.
Sometimes as a pitcher, do you feel like you come in and you're short-handed almost. Like you're in a helpless situation. Like you're coming in with bases loaded, right? For example.
Runner takes off for second. Smith in with a dive in safely as the Parkers throw just a tad late.
Ball. 1-1 will be the count. Does that ever like affect your mentality?
It definitely does. There's one game I played here with the Disco Turkeys against the Uwharrie Wampus Cats down in Albemarle, as I was a sidearm reliever, as that's popped up right center field, giving a Chase Cush, able to make the grab. That will do it. I'll give you my example as we come back here after the break. Going bottom four, still scoreless.
Slinging his bat in frustration there over to the first base dugout.
Coming back here, home half of the fourth. We're still in a gridlock at 0 between the pitchers' duel. As Chambers' night's done for the Turkeys, as Ariola took over for 1 inning of work, as we have a new man on the mound for the Wampus Cats as well. First pitch here misses from the side armor, 1-0. I hate reading handwriting.
Two hellos.
Drew Hallows.
As that gets deposited into the seats, almost hitting our friends over there on the other side. Ken about got a souvenir there.
New man on the mound is Drew Holcomb. The side armor right-handed line left field. That's headed toward a left fielder. Make the break to it, dead to his right. As Hayward's able to put down out number 1.
A good rope, but unfortunately finds a glove. You don't ever regret that as a player, though. You know that you're hitting it hard. And sometimes, even when it's right at it, it's something to hang your hat on.
2 hard-hit balls in the last 2 innings. Unfortunately, both of them being an out. One a line out into third, and that one being that fly out to left. We'll bring up Iwanowski. He's 0 for 1, flying out to center, and his one and only at bat thus far. Popped up right field. Second baseman going to call for it. As DeVore will make the play. Thought that had a little bit more eyes toward the outfield. As the second baseman will make the catch. 2 outs.
Well, they're in a slight breeze, but I think whatever win that there was did get a little bit of a hold of it. Just a real shuffle golf swing. Looking like a flop shot on about 80 yards out. Those are the ones that will make or break you as a player. That you get just that little extra help with your batting average or BABIP or anything like that.
As we were mentioning earlier, as I'll bring it to you back in the next half inning, in fairground just barely. Is that on the line? No! Wow!
That's a tough call to make as a field umpire because it's such a 50-50 that you can flip a coin on it.
Shrewsbury just barely missed it, diving back to his left after overrunning it. Wow.
It's a game of inches, though.
And it only takes one pitch. 0-2 here, the Chambers. Gonna be a little bloop shot, just foul. As the man on the mound wasn't able to touch it, that being Holcomb.
Had quite a bit of English on it. A good runaway spirit, if you will.
New life here for Chambers. He started off on the mound, went through 3 before leaving it up for Areola. Even more fireworks going off here in the outfield, just past the trees. Popped up, fouled into the netting. Count remains 0-2.
Well, at least someone caught it there.
I can't believe back in the old days there were no netting behind home plate.
There was no netting.
Grounded over the short. Smith, one hops it, firing it over the Schwam in time. A 3-up, 3-down inning will take us to the top of the 5th. Still in the pitcher's duel. Zeros across the board.
No errors. Right fielder number 20, Ed Baruch.
Coming back here into the couch, game number 2 of this doubleheader. Baruch coming into the box. He's 0 for 1 thus far, striking out back in the 2nd. There's been 5 strikeouts from the Disco Turkey pitching staff, 5 of those coming up from Chambers, as Areola is on the mound here for his 2nd inning of work.
A quick game so far. Knock on wood over here real quick to preserve this lucky streak that we're having. But it's looking like we're going to get to that 7, 8, maybe 9 inning mark. And in a doubleheader, that's a tough ask for some of these boys.
Swing and a miss there, 0-2. Well, with this being a doubleheader, I'm pretty sure we're only playing 7 regardless.
Is it actually?
I'm pretty sure we're only playing 7, yeah.
So we can end on a tie.
Well, negating the scoreless streak. If one of the two teams take a lead, we're playing 7. There we go.
Have to cover ourselves there for the bad luck. We're not stitious. We're not superstitious, just a little stitious.
1 and 2 here from Areola. Just missing it upstairs. Evens the count 2 and 2.
You know, every player has their flair, and every pitcher has their own superstition. Was there any that you had when you would come in? Like a certain way that you'd set up on the mound or rub the dirt each time?
One of the biggest things for me was just the way I warmed up. I could do whatever I wanted to on the mound, didn't bother me at all. But if I changed anything about the way I warmed up, I was going to have a bad day.
Yeah, same for me. When I'd go do my outfield drills, I'd always only do one drill, and I'd do it 3 times.
Line to center, coming in on it, just able to make the grab at the toe was Vespi. Went back, but the wind brought it back in, and that will retire Baruch. 1 up, 1 down here in the 5th.
Shoestring grab. Flashing the leather here, as the bat hasn't been so gracious to him today.
Only 3 hits combined between both teams. And this will bring up Christian Shrewsbury, who struck out as well in the 3rd inning. He was the first out of the 3rd. First pitch misses outside, ball 1. The one unfortunate thing for me while being a pitcher in college, our pitching coach got fired the day before opening day.
Oh, Lord, I bet that...
And we only had 1 other coach.
He'll not get the 3rd.
Oh, had a chance to go for 3. Was the man in the orange cap. We might need to put him down in the dark brown jersey. He's already got the orange hat. Give him the brown jersey to go with it.
I always enjoyed those weird off-color jerseys that some teams have. You know, you get the brown and the yellow, kind of the mustard colors. It's always a joy to see more unorthodox colors in the game of baseball.
And one of the weird combinations here for the Wampus Cats, at least 2 seasons ago, if I'm not mistaken, it was an undershirt alongside with the dark brown top. So it was almost like they were wearing an undershirt with an overshirt.
Are those vest jerseys?
I believe they are.
Vest jerseys were always my favorite. Back at Forbush, we had the retro pinstripes, and it'd either be like a blue or a blue short sleeve or a blue long sleeve shirt, and it was the most comfortable jersey there was. I really do think that, honestly, in my opinion, that's something I'm superstitious about, is how comfortable that jersey is. If you're in a tight jersey, or at least for me, I couldn't play.
Back when I was in high school, we decided to go with the short pants, which a few of the Disco Turkeys are wearing, although we didn't have any in my size. And if you know anything about me, in high school I didn't weigh 100 pounds. And I got stuck with an extra large. The one bad thing about it is I left my belt at home.
Oh, goodness.
I had to tie my pants with a string. There's a picture of it online somewhere.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I remember my sophomore year, I got pulled out for a playoff run. I got sat with a double XL jersey. And folks, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. I'm not a double XL jersey kind of guy. I'm more of a medium to a large.
The payoff pitch results in a walk to the leadoff man of Shrewsbury. A little bit too much pine tar there, as he just about seemed like he bat flipped a walk.
Well, just about seems like. I think he did. That puppy went around about 7 times like a merry-go-round.
Final score between Davidson County and Moxville. That's the Legion team that plays out of Rich Park. Davidson County won 6-5. Moxville was on a 10-game losing streak earlier this season.
And they made it to the playoffs. My freshman year, that Moxville Legion team, it was the younger team. It wasn't the A team, but it was
the junior team.
It was the junior team. It wasn't the. It was the kid still in high school. It wasn't the seniors.
Yeah. Woo! Got a sword there, 0-2.
He laid that one, stepping about out of the batter's box, parallel to the pitcher. But as I was saying, it was one of the funnest times I've had playing baseball. It wasn't the best record though. We didn't win a game.
The Moxville team this year, I've done all their home games broadcasting wise. They finished 4-16. They went 3-9 in conference play and did not finish in last.
Well, that's just baseball, and that's another baseball-esque swing there.
Talking about that, since you played with the Junior Legion, they beat Westerland 22-12 a few nights ago, plating home 16 runs in the third inning. They were losing 12-3 in the third before plating home 16.
My goodness. West Rowan always gave us fits.
Westerland's a very tough team, along with any of the Rowan squads.
Rowan is a very underrated baseball county.
Swing and a miss there. 0-1 the count.
You know, Surrey County is also very underrated as well.
It is.
Nobody talks about it, but Folger Boaz, one of the starting pitchers over at UNC Chapel Hill, came from East Surrey, and having played at Forbush and seeing 95 in person is no joke.
One of the pitchers the Turkeys faced last year was from Surrey County, played at Surrey Community College before going on to a 4-year, alongside playing at Moxville, Joey Gaither.
Joey Gaither. That's a name.
Not sure if you know who he is or not, but
I've heard the name once.
Right-hander, low to mid-80s with a nasty splitter.
That was my least favorite pitch to go against. That or the slider. I always struggled with sliders. I could never lay off them.
1-2 the count here, 2 outs, runner on first, trying to leave him stranded. As that's popped up right field, Kush giving it a chase to his right. Right in the right center field gap, makes the grab. Just able to hang up long enough for Kush to make the grab look like a can of corn. To the home half of the fifth we go, still scoreless. Coming back here in the home half, the Disco Turkeys looking for any form of momentum. And that just about clipped Kush's back right foot.
Got lucky as a pitcher there. Just being able to miss it.
Leadoff base runners usually find a way to come across and score. As for the Disco Turkeys, it happened quite a few times back in game number 1, alongside yesterday on the 4th.
very few things will haunt you as a player, but 2-out walks have always led to downfall, at least in my eyes. Every year at Forbush, third round, there'd be a 2-out walk, and that'd be our cue to go home. And then just those leadoff runners.
3 balls and a strike here to Cush, the leadoff man. Swing and a miss will bring it to full. Payoff pitch upcoming. Back in the second inning, we had a leadoff base runner, that was Chambers, who singled the second base. Ended up stealing second as well. Got stranded on third. Line shot left field.
Get
That's
up, ball.
gone! Over the hedges, past left field. A leadoff bomb here in the 5th breaks the scoreless tie. As Cush puts us on the board, it's 1-0.
An absolute shot from Kush as 41 now. Just had that sweet sidearm delivery, left it over the plate, and that will haunt you. You know as a pitcher or as a hitter when that ball is cranked, and it'll haunt you.
That's the first long ball we've seen here at the couch in quite a few games. We knew we were due for one, and the perfect time for one breaks the scoreless tie.
What shocked me though is when we played over at Mando Field, no home runs for the Disco Turkeys.
The Turkeys didn't score a single run.
Yeah,
That went back behind the back of Welch. He evens the count 1-1.
always got to keep them honest there. Now, were there ever any batters that you would intentionally try and back up off the plate that you knew would lean out and be aggressive?
There's a handful that, more likely than not, that could definitely do some damage. Not saying I would intentionally try and throw an up and in, especially I was a sidearm right-handed pitcher, so any two-seam action I would throw would head even more inside than what I'd want. So I had my fair share of hit-by pitches to begin with.
Speaking of which, there's one there.
Puts a runner on first after the home run. Bring up Parker. Had a good three-pitch combo. Mainly relied on my two-seam and slider. But I would definitely try and be careful to be around, 3-4 hole, your power hitter guys.
You seem like the type of guy that I'd either hit really well or really poorly. I got the opportunity to face one of my teammates when I played at Moxville. He was playing for West Forsyth. And he left a two-seam fastball out over the dish. And we're over there at West Forsyth High School, and I knocked one right off that about 30-foot high fence. And I'm just looking at him second like, you're never living this down. I got you forever. And honestly, 5 years down the road, I'll probably text him, let him know, hey, remember? You can never let it go.
Line shot right center field. That's going to drop for extra bases. Past the center fielder, McKinney. We might have a plate at the plate, running him around third to the third base coach. He'll hold up. He had a chance to score there. As Smith, the cutoff man, dropped it. We'll have runners second and third now. Nobody out here in the fifth. The floodgates have opened.
Well, we did say it earlier, and we've said it about for the upteenth time now. It's that one pitch. It's that one mental mistake. And it looks like we're playing seven after all.
Knocking on wood still. It's 1-0.
Oh, we got a school back here.
There we go. Let's see if we can add some more infield playing in here. Nobody out. Yeah, Welch on third. Parker's on second. For Manisi, he's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. But the odds are in our favor as that ran inside ball 2.
It almost has a snowball effect where you get so caught up in, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. There are several different things that you need to remember first. One thing that I was always told is subdue your passions. It can lead to spirals, and we might be seeing one here as the 3-0.
Hardy cut there, had the green light. Ends up whiffing on it to bring it back 3-1. especially in moments like this. Leadoff home run followed by a hit by pitch and double. It appears that floodgates might open. Trying to ride any form of momentum that we have, and this is the best chance to do it. Although down 3-2. The payoff pitch. Line shot center field. Chasing back is McKinney. Can't see it. Trying to deke the runner at third. And there will be no play at the plate.
A good hearty throw, but those are ones as a player you got to learn whether to cut or to not. But especially on turf, you're going to get that good skip.
McKinney as well, the center fielder, tried to deke the runner on third, that being a Welch, and I can't see it.
He certainly fooled me. I thought he lost in the lights up there, which is
shot over the short. Checking a runner at third, fires it over the first, and just like that, back-to-back outs. Now leaves a chance for one pitch to get out of the inning. Stranding runner second and third.
That'd be huge for the momentum of the Wampus Cats pitching staff here to keep it a 1-0 game and to get their bats in there with at least a little bit of vigor.
Tonight's fielder, number 1, Ty Busby.
Here comes back to the top of Ty Vespi. Had a line out back in the third to the third baseman.
He's due for one here.
Shot right center field. That has a chance to drop. It will not as McKinney chases over to his left. Two hard hit balls from Vespi.
Having a little bit of a word out there.
Unfortunately not able to drop one. Will strand the runner second and third. 1-run game is what it will be heading to the top half of the 7th. Turkey's up top of the 6th, that is. Apologies. Read the scoreboard wrong.
I was about to say, we're almost done here.
Apologies. 1-0 going top of the 6th.
Same here. I got very little.
And you see, guys, that
Yeah.
coming back here, top of the 6th inning, not the 7th. Apologies for that. But this game has been moving, and before long, we will be there. That to lead things off, that's going to be a pop shot left center field, giving chase towards the warning track. But able to make the grabs, Vespi in center. 1 out.
I just lost my train of thought there. I was about to say something really profound.
Next up, first baseman, number 45.
You ever have those moments as a person where you're just in the middle of something, you're so deep in thought and you just blank?
Always.
Unfortunately, that happens on the broadcast more than it happens in real life. If only it was easy as it seemed.
I'm not that good with words, so especially whenever I think of something I want to say and forget it, I definitely get frustrated with myself.
Well, that's where you just have to be as loose as you can be and enjoy the moment. There's no real mistakes. As Bob Ross would put it, just happy accidents.
Catches the outside corner, 1-1 here to Schwam. The flyout was to DeVore.
You know, since they've kind of stopped putting me at the host job, I wonder if I might be in here for a minute. Who knows?
I'll take it. 1-2 here to Schwam.
Well, it's always good to have a friend.
Oh, yeah. Did he go? He did. Home plate umpire rung him up. Out number 2 of the inning. First strikeout in a while, dating back to the third out of the third inning.
Gosh, it has been a minute. The clock's ticking and kind of eating himself up there as they walk back to the dugout. That's just when you feel lonely as a player. Some of the loneliest moments you have are either walking back to the dugout or when you're on that mound.
Alongside here at the couch, it's a long walk back to the visitor dugout.
That's a good hike.
It's a lot longer than the distance between the home side.
You can call that about that's about a marathon, I'd say, right there.
Oh, yeah. Nemont? New man on the mound for the Turkeys, that's Braden Rogers from Barton College, who went to Davie County High School. I was teammates with him for about 2 seasons, if I remember right. His brother Zach Rogers had a chance to play here as well. Declined the offer while attending Florida Tech. Struck out another one, second strikeout of the inning for Braden Rogers.
A quick inning, and that might be the dagger there.
A 3-up, 3-down inning from Rogers will take us to the home half. Graham, Dahl, and Uwharrie.
Speaking of Kenny,
And all that. coming back here, home half of the 6th. As of now, it stands last chance for the Turkeys to score any sorts of insurance. The 1-0 lead comes on a solo shot from Kush.
Well, this is the moment where you need that insurance as a pitcher to feel comfortable going out there and to ease the nerves up. Because it's so much easier playing from behind.
Gonna be a tough play here. First baseman able to beat it out. That was Schwam over at first.
A wonderful play there. Keeping the PFP alive, honestly. PFP is a forgotten art.
It is. And while I was at Rockingham, we practice it every day, which some schools do, some schools don't. But you could definitely tell the ones that
didn't
do it.
That was beaten to us religiously over there at Forbush. Every day it'd be about 30 minutes, PFPs, rundown drill, get the basic fundamentals engraved into your head, and you hardly make mistakes like that.
And as I mentioned, we lost our pitching coach the day before opening day. So everything the pitchers did was by ourselves.
Did y'all not hire anyone else after that?
Couldn't find anybody. Everybody had jobs at that point. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean...
Our pitching coach went to one of our rival schools as well.
Oh gosh, that's...
Ugly swing there, strikes him out, and he knew it. That was a Graham.
What's that? His handguard came off.
And that's the second or third time he's done it tonight.
I need to get a new piece of Velcro on there.
Apologies there, that was dull. I'm a batter behind.
We got 2 outs in the inning. Real last shot for insurance and fought off there.
0-1 to the man at the plate. That's Uwharrie, the third baseman. New man on the mound's threats. He was a batter back in game number 1, making his first pitching appearance tonight. As for both sides, they have not reused any of the relieving pitchers.
That's one thing I always wanted to do, is I always wanted to get at least 1 inning. I begged my coach every day for the 4 years, let me get an inning, let me get an inning, let me get an inning. One batter, one batter. It never worked, unfortunately. There were times where it could have.
Line shot left field, has a chance toward the warning track, but able to come in on it was Hayworth. That nearly had a chance to be run number 2.
Just drop down and give me 20, I guess. Push up. Push-ups help.
That's going to do it here in the home half of the 6th. 3 outs, and that will do it in the top half of inning number 7.
Well, you had a rompous crowd behind you then. 12? No, way more than 12.
It was over 2,000.
2,000 strong. Ladies and gentlemen, come out to the games, please, if you watch. Tickets are, what, $10?
Right at it, yeah.
And free parking?
Down here, top of the 7th, new man on the mound. As that pitch misses up and out, that's number 37 of Frails. Connor.
Down to your last 3 outs, and you've really got to play conservative baseball. Eliminate the chasing pitches, shorten up on the swing, shrink yourself in the box and in the zone, and stay a more compact and tight hitter.
In a sense, even with an 0-0 count, you're going to want to act like it's a 2-strike approach.
Always trying just to put the ball in play, give yourself a chance, because you're going to get lucky at some point.
In Game 2 of this doubleheader, especially having the same 2 umpires here, they're more than likely ready to go home here in the 14th inning of this one.
I know myself, I'd be ready to go home. As a runner on is going to make things a little bit interesting here. The go-ahead run and coming to the plate. This is going to make an interesting atmosphere.
The 5-pitch walk should bring up Jake Smith. He sits 0 for 1 thus far, has walked in the 4th, flew out into center, back in the 2nd. Tying runner on base, fouled straight back into the netting, 0-1.
Well, here you're just looking for a pitch to drive, and he fouled one. Unfortunately, fouled it back, but you know when you're on it as a hitter, and it can be really good to know that you can foul one away and still feel like I'm on it, and I'm ready for what's coming next.
Just missing the outside corner. Look good from here.
Maybe a tad low, but that's a chase pitch if I've ever seen one.
Looks like the home plate umpire's holding strong in this 1-0 game.
The mental fortitude.
Grounded down a third base side. That just went foul.
Game of inches, and unfortunately breaks the opposite way for Uwharrie. Disco Turkeys can breathe a sigh of relief in a 1-2 count. Not out of the woods yet, but you see the light at the end of the tunnel.
One pitch here could give us 2. But as of now, it almost seems like we're in a bit of a pickle. 1 on, nobody out.
And base runner here, a long at bat can really, really determine the game.
Smith trying to put it down both baselines here. As he's shown, he can do it on both sides.
As a pitcher, do you ever get frustrated when batters are fouling off pitches and almost like, I want to walk you or hit you just to refresh?
It definitely gets frustrating at times, especially whenever it starts to become a long at bat where you're starting to run the count 2-2, 3-2. When you know you don't have your best chase pitches, then when you throw a really good one and they don't end up actually taking the bite on it, unlike he did there, strikes him out for out number 1 of the inning.
And that's a huge break for the Turkeys. As usually, that's when the dominoes start to fall. Once that first one goes, it's 2-3 before long.
We've seen here earlier tonight, after a leadoff walk, it's been, in a sense, a 3-up, 3-down inning, negating that leadoff batter.
It's those stranded bases. Leaving ducks on a pond is what will kill you. Time in and time out. It's not the pitching staff. It's not the hitting. It is, well, it's the hitting, I guess, but more situational. In this instance, I wouldn't rule out a bunt.
Runner
here.
takes off, picked off, that gets away from him, Dahl at first.
He's going to go 3. He might go 4.
They're going to hold him there. Third base coach just standing there as the tying run stands on third.
And this is really where you'd rule in a bunt. If I'm a coach or if I'm a player, that is the first thing I'm thinking. It's a 1-0 count with 1 out, push a bunt first base, and give at least some sort of signal to the runner at third saying, hey, you're going.
Infield coming in. Almost like they're expecting it, as this 1 run means a lot. This has only been 1 run scored all night. Catches the outside corner, works it back even. 1 apiece.
Still a decent crowd out tonight, especially for a late game. I know it's a Saturday, but 10 o'clock and we've still got looks like
It's a fairly solid crowd, one of the bigger ones we've had.
about 100.
Although I'm used to seeing that July 4th crowd last night. It looks tiny compared to that.
It does, but hey,
For a turkey game here at the couch, it's a nice crowd.
it's always a pleasure to have at least one fan in the building.
Even if it's somebody's mom.
It's usually my mom. My mom was always the type to go out and show support.
Woo! Out number 2 on the swing and a miss. Down.
Almost trying to make something happen there instead of letting the game come to you.
Can't make something out of nothing. That negates the laws of physics.
Matter can't be created nor destroyed. I learned that one in my physics class one time. Or was it chemistry? I don't know. I never paid attention.
Science.
One of them.
It was in science. 2 outs here in the 7th. Leadoff walk stands on third after an arrogant pickoff attempt with back-to-back strikeouts for Baruch.
Almost trying to make it interesting here.
Swing and a miss there. Base hit will bring home 1. As the outfield decides to play in.
Well, you have to.
Trying to see if they can nail that runner at home.
It's a true no-fly zone for everyone where everyone's at. Infield back, outfield in, but won't do much against the pass ball there.
And just as I was about to say, Parker's going to have to be on his nose and make sure nothing gets by him.
On his nose, that's one I've never heard before. I'm gonna add that to my vocabulary now.
There you go.
Inching down third baseline.
Swing and a miss down to the last strike here in the top half of the 7th. 1 pitch away.
Well, this is where you start to get antsy, and you can almost feel it and see it on the players' faces of, let's go. Let's get her moving.
Are the Turkeys going to try and do too much and get 3 strikeouts here in the 7th? The 1-2. Goff, first base side, in foul ground, trying to chase after it. Will not lay out for it. New life here for Baruch.
Well, honestly, as a player, with what happened last night on July 4th and the brick wall incident, I'd be hesitant to go sliding turf. You
go a mile.
give an inch, get a mile. It's
Glad to see that stone to left fielder for Marion got up after that incident, and he continued playing.
absolutely a real trooper there. And a lot of times people go out after those games and they never come back in.
The 1-2 offering just misses the outside corner. Turkeys thought that was strike 3 and thought that would have ended it. Instead, we're tied up by 2s across the board in a 1-run game.
Hear a little bit of barking, but you gotta put your money where your mouth is sometimes.
So far tonight, the Turkeys took home game 1, trying to take home game 2. Pop fly first base side, out of play again.
That's out on the
Up to the concourse.
bleachers. Gets a lucky bounce. You think Orange Hat's gonna run down there again?
He thought about it.
I think he's going. Nah, he's staying put.
He took a look, and that was about all he wrote.
That is 2-2 deuces all across the board.
Turkeys looking to pick up their 13th one of the season. They got 10 losses and 1 tie so far to boot.
13th one of the season.
Upstairs, full count.
Now this is the moment that you dream about in the backyard.
It is.
3-2, 2 outs, full count. You're down, runner on third.
The winning run at the plate.
Well, go ahead. You never know.
Apologies there, indeed. Go ahead. Long pause here. The payoff pitch. Up and out, ball 4.
A shocker here as head coach. Coach for the day, I guess, is going to go out and try and settle him down. Remind him that he's not out of this just yet.
This is not the pitching coach of A.J. Lewis. This is the head coach for the Turkeys. He usually only goes out for a pitching change. I doubt there's anybody warming up here, but we'll see. Coming back here after the mound visit, as A.J. Lewis, the pitching coach, not here tonight in game number 2. As the head coach came out, he's back into the dugout. Same man on the mound. Only takes one. Swing and a miss there. 0-1 to Farrell.
Now you got to think, they might pull a hat play on you. Where that runner on first steals, trying to draw the throw from the catcher to get the run home.
Missing inside, 1-1. This is a pinch hitter here. This being a Brooks Farrell, did not play in game 1. This is his 4th game of the season, batting a 143. No base hits on the season against the Turkeys.
Well, this is a real David meets Goliath moment, as this could be a turning point in a young man's season. Getting a confidence and getting a fire lit under you could really make or break. That is
Yes.
Good old Winston-Salem.
Swing and a miss there, down to the last strike. Just like the last batter, it's a 2-2 count.
We're going to get a bit more of a dramatic flair here as the Turkeys are trying to make it interesting but hold her off.
Go ahead run on first, tying run at third. The 2-2, swing and a miss. That will do it.
Dramatic flair and a dramatic ending as the Turkeys sweep the doubleheader in, again, dramatic fashion.
A pitching duel finds its way victorious here for the Turkeys. A solo bomb by Kush gives the Turkeys the 1-0 win. Although it's 1 run, does not matter. A win is a win.
Yes, sir, and thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure.
The next game will be back here in 4 nights on July 10th. That will be against the Uwharrie Wampus Cats down in Albemarle. Next home game on July 17th. Back here at the couch against the Wampus Cats again. Once again, final score here, 1-0 in favor of the Disco Turkeys. They take the doubleheader sweep as they improve 13-10-1 on the season.